Is Donald Trump about to hand back a piece of America? With Alaska, once Russian soil, set to host his high-stakes summit with Vladimir Putin, one slip of the tongue has sparked a storm of speculation. Was it a gaffe? Or a glimpse of a deal the world isn't ready for? The question is ricocheting through diplomatic circles after the US president confirmed that he and Vladimir Putin will discuss land swapping when they meet on August 15th in Alaska for a high-stakes summit on the Ukraine war.
I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelenskyy was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap, because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody, to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff, for both.
Meanwhile, with the meeting set in Alaska, Trump's remark that he's going to Russia has ignited debate online. Was it a Freudian slip or a signal of something bigger?
Look, let's just do this. Let's do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know.
And while White House officials have not commented on whether Alaska is on the negotiating table, the location, a former Russian territory and the closest US state to Moscow, is fueling a storm of speculation. As the summit draws closer, one question lingers. Is this calculated symbolism, or could Trump really be preparing to hand back a piece of America? Trump also voiced irritation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy for insisting that any peace deal recognizing Russian control over occupied Ukrainian territory must first be approved by a national referendum.
Your upcoming meeting with President Putin.
Yeah.
Tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you consider inviting President Zelenskyy to join.
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. So this is really a feel-out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times, and I've been disappointed, because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. The money that's been spent and the death is incredible. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war, you got to end it. And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. You know, we had a discussion about it one time, and we never had that discussion again. Would have never happened.
Alaska has been chosen as the site for the Trump-Putin talks for reasons that go beyond simple convenience. Its proximity to Russia, historical status as former Russian territory, and enduring cultural connections make it a symbolic backdrop for high-level diplomacy between Washington and Moscow. Strategically located on the US-Russia frontier, Alaska's history adds a layer of significance to the meeting. The territory, sold by Russia to the United States in 1867, retains both historical resonance and geopolitical relevance in today's security landscape. Reports have suggested that Trump may float the idea of some swapping of territories as part of a settlement between Russia and Ukraine, though these negotiations, he has stressed, would concern Ukrainian lands only. Contrary to some speculation, Alaska itself is not on the table. Its role in this process is as a neutral, geographically symbolic, and logistically viable venue for negotiations. In Trump's words, the upcoming face-to-face with Putin is essential for any breakthrough in the war. He has repeatedly said that a ceasefire is unlikely without such direct engagement, a view that has left European leaders wary, but also aware of the potential for a dramatic diplomatic pivot. As August 15th approaches, the stakes are high. The Alaska summit will unfold against a backdrop of tense transatlantic diplomacy deep mistrust between Kyiv and Moscow, and growing questions over how far Washington is willing to go to end the war, and at what cost.